Hello, hello, everybody. Oh, it's always fun trying to figure out tech, isn't it? All right, all right. Well, hey, everybody. I am so glad you guys are here. We're going to go ahead and get started and make sure that we are actually streaming in the right place. So, for those of you that are here, come say hello. I would love to see you. If you are in the Facebook group, I would love for you to just comment hashtag replay if you're not watching it live, hashtag live if you are watching it live, hashtag replay if you are coming back and watching it at a later time. Same thing on Substack. So hopefully we're actually going live on Substack. I know sometimes connecting things can feel a little wonky, and so sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. So if it's not actually streaming onto Substack, no worries. We will make sure that we get this recording up there for you and have everything that you need. So oh, so excited. So, for those of you that don't know me, I am Chris Williams. I am the founder of the Soulful Abundance System. I'm also the best-selling author of the Soulful Abundance System. And I want to talk to you today all about rooms that convert. So, let me just grab my notes real quick because I want to make sure that I am giving you guys the good, juicy stuff. So, what the heck are rooms, right? So before we kind of dive into rooms, I want to kind of share like what it is that I'm seeing in the world right now, in the marketing world. And it's so fascinating because the market has shifted so much in just the past few years. But I want to kind of give you a little bit of context here in during COVID, right, when none of us could actually be out with each other, we still needed a place to connect, right? We needed to have some sort of connection. And so many people that had businesses were taking their businesses online, right? Where and this is where, it was like the great, Zoom rooms. Everybody was in a Zoom room and it was like the whole quote of the years was you're on mute. I can't hear you. You're on mute, right? So when we were going through COVID, we were isolated at home. And yet we still needed a way to connect with each other because we're humans. And this is really important, you guys. I want to make sure that you are clear that when we are here to share our work with the world, when we are here trying to help people create, transformations or new opportunities, then people actually want to be seen as humans, right? And so, since we were not able to actually have those in-person connections, we created virtual connections and it worked great. It was awesome. Like, we're able to connect all over the place. People that had businesses in person, we're actually bringing them online. We had a greater global reach, right? Many of my clients, I had some in Africa, in Ireland, in Italy, and all over places. It was so cool. And we still get to do that now. So I am definitely, do not hear me say that I am like throwing out social media or Zoom rooms out with the baby with the bathwater. That's not it at all. What I want to give you is some context is kind of like where we were, where we're going, and how we actually need to blend things so that we actually have a whole ecosystem that's really working for you. So after COVID, right, we started getting like Zoom fatigue, right? Anybody have that? We were like, oh my gosh, another call, right? Where we were not actually meeting people in person anymore. And all of our information was coming through Zoom rooms, right? And we started feeling like, oh gosh, I really want to do some in-person stuff. So people started navigating back into in-person experiences, which is great. I have been running retreats for the past 8 years. Having people in person is so valuable and so important, where we can actually see each other, touch each other, have a real experience of each other, right? And then we are coming on now the AI era, right? Where there is a lot of information that is being flooded into our world, whether it's through social media channels or whether it's through, any other type of media channels, whether we're watching TV or whether we're getting ads. Like it doesn't really matter. We just know that there is a lot of information being flooded. And with the age of AI, it's easier for people to create content. And so they're producing a lot more content. But what's troubling is that we actually don't know what's real, right? And so this has caused a disconnect between actually creating that trust that people so desperately need before they work with you. Where back in the day, it was really easy to do a Zoom meeting and directly invite somebody into a workshop and then invite them into your offer. Now it's really, really important that we understand that content is not actually the conversion. It's the doorway, but it's not just about creating a whole bunch of emails that are, leading into an offer or a whole bunch of Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts or Instagram posts or whatever have you, because people are not actually feeling connected to that content anymore because they're not sure what's real or what's not. As a matter of fact, a lot of the imagery that we see, right, that's being produced and the memes and everything, it's like, I don't even know if that's a real person. It might not, she might look like a real person, but we're not even really sure if it's a real person. So all of that, I want to put this into context so that we can see that this is not an either or. This is not either I build my business in person or I build my business virtually. This is not about, just being visible online or doing something offline. This is about the both and. This is about doing a combination of giving people an experience, growing your authority, your visibility, your thought leadership, your mission by hosting your own rooms. But not just that, having an ecosystem where it doesn't just feel random, it feels like there is an actual structural component. So we know where people are coming in and where people are moving through so that we can grow our reach, we can grow our relationships, we can grow our opportunities, not just hosting our own rooms, but also being in other rooms. And, what does that look like? It could look as a guest expert. It could look like as a participant. And I saw that so profoundly this week inside of my retreat that I just finished running. So it was a 4-day retreat and it completely reinforced everything that I am seeing and the way that I am seeing people become buyers and how they're coming into our ecosystems and how they're moving through from stranger to viewer, from viewer to somebody who's engaging, from somebody who's engaging to ultimately the way that clients are enrolling right now. So I just said I got back from a 4-day retreat and let me just kind of slow this down just a little bit because I know I'm sharing a lot of information here. But what was so amazing about this retreat wasn't just what happened in our individual rooms. It wasn't just what I was teaching. It wasn't that it was just a great event. It was that we got to see a full ecosystem coming to life. And we actually got to talk about it there, which was really, really cool. The women that were coming there to the Nurture the Leader retreat didn't need more teaching or strategy. They came because they wanted to be in a room with other people, have a sense of belonging, have real conversations, and connect with the other women who are getting it. And within days, they were not just learning, they were creating, not just creating on their own, they were creating with each other. And I watched people in these in this larger room, find spots in smaller rooms, whether it was at a kitchen table or whether when we were doing some breakout rooms. They were planning collaborative workshops. They were inviting each other into their communities. They were mapping out 10 or more strategic partnerships. They were getting referrals and booking podcast interviews. It was amazing. And as a matter of fact, several clients actually were signing clients at lunch, where they were talking about something and realizing that they actually had a connection and they related to each other. And one person had a way that they could help the other person and vice versa, right? So they left with multiple aligned opportunities already scheduled, already on the books, without having to do ads, without having to dance on TikTok, without having to perform, right? Without having to worry or obsess over what should I post today. It was because they were able to create connection and proximity and being in real rooms. And the funnest takeaway that I got to see over and over was this is so fun. This is so fun. This is so easy for me. This felt so good. Like I'm here and I don't feel like I'm like forcing anything. This just is actually an amazing experience. So here's where things started clicking a little bit deeper for me because what I'm seeing in the industry now is that everyone is talking about creating content or being on Substack or joining a Facebook group or adding more visibility. And all of those things matter. I have a Substack, I have my Facebook group, I still create content, I still send emails, but the whole thing, there's not a whole picture. It's very, very random, right? Because people do not just come into your ecosystem just from random content, right? I hear a lot of clients saying, "Oh, I'm posting, but nobody's reaching out to me." Well, content doesn't create clients on its own, right? Content starts to build awareness. Visibility starts to build awareness. Content starts to create that awareness. It starts building trust, but it does not create an actual experience in and of itself to actually help people make a decision. And this is where I really want to introduce to you the Rooms That Convert ecosystem, because what I see is that it's not just, random. I think I'll do a workshop today, or maybe I'll go to an event, or maybe I'll host an event. All of these things are very random. They're not actually connected, right? So I want you to hear that what we're talking about isn't just a tactic. It's not like host a workshop strategy or get on someone's stages or host more events. This is actually a new way of growing your business as a business model. And so I want you to think about it like this because a lot of business coaches actually talk about it like a funnel, right? You bring more people in at the top of the funnel and then you move them through and ultimately they can become buyers. But it doesn't actually work like this. An ecosystem is a little bit different. It's not like this leads to this leads to this. This is actually a living ecosystem. When we think about connections, when we think about relationships, when we think about either hosting our rooms or going into other rooms. And so I want you to think that at the center of all of this, when we think about our business model, at the very, very center, if we were to have, like a bullseye, at the very, very center, I want you to think of that as like your foundation room, right? That foundation room is your message. It's your method or your signature system that you help people with. It's your offers and your ideal client, right? Everything flows from there, but we have to have that original foundation, right? Then we have these other beautiful places on the outer of our foundation, and I like to call these rooms. One of them is a hub. And my hub is my Facebook group. It's my Substack channel. It's my email list. This is where people are coming into my ecosystem. It's where they gather. It's where they feel a sense of belonging. And it is where they get to learn a little bit more about who I am, what it is that I do. And everybody is actually in one central location. So we know that inside of this hub, it's a place for our ideal client. It's not a place for everybody, right? It is a place for the people that want to learn more about your method, the way that you can help them to create a transformation in their life, in their health, in their business, in their wellness, whatever. But we have to have a hub because if we don't have this hub, then we are just expecting people that we met at, let's just say, a champagne dinner club, which I love to go to reach out to me, or I won't see them again until the next dinner, right? Or maybe they'll, send me a direct message, but we're not actually bringing people together, which is really what people want. People want to feel a sense of belonging. They want to feel a sense of community. They want to know that they can go to a place and see somebody and hear somebody that they trust. Okay. Then we have more of our rooms, right? So outside of our hub, this is where the magic also happens, right? So I want you to think about conversion rooms like workshops, live trainings, conversations, retreats, events. There are a lot of different types of rooms that we can not only be in touch with people, whether it's virtual or in person doesn't really matter. We actually want to have a combination of both. But here's the thing that I want you to take away from this. Your rooms, your workshops, your live trainings, your conversations, your retreats, your events, your podcast interviews, this is where people experience you, connect with you, and connect with each other. So our rooms are not just for selling, they're actually for building and cultivating community in real time, right? So I'm doing a live right now. I'm not AI generated, right? I'm doing a live training. So this is actually a room and I'm streaming it into my hub. I'm streaming it into my Facebook group. Hopefully it's getting into a Substack. We might even, post it up into our YouTube channel. That's our hub, right? But this is where we are actually creating that deeper sense of community in real time when people can actually see me, they can hear me, they know I'm a real person, they know that I'm not AI generated, and they're getting value. Okay. Then we have what I like to call our visibility rooms. So, visibility rooms are not our rooms, they're not the ones that we host. They are rooms that other people utilize. For example, if I was to go into somebody else's podcast, think of it in terms of somebody else's podcast, somebody else's Facebook group, somebody else's guest training, being on somebody else's stage, or being invited into somebody else's community to share your message, to share your mission, to share ways that you can actually help them and to create value. And this is where your business starts to expand because it's a both and. It's not a just let me host my own rooms. I'm just going to do this launch one time and then, invite people to purchase for me. This is how can I host my own room and leverage my own authority, but also go into other people's rooms as a leader, as a collaborator, and as a participant, which is really, really important because when you become a participant, even if you're going because you want to connect and you want to learn something from the person there, you are going to walk away with other partnerships. And I see this happening over and over and over again. We saw this happening at my retreat. When I go to other events and I go to other people's rooms as a participant, I am always walking away with either a collaboration, a connection, a podcast that I can be on, a referral. It's always expanding and growing my business in amazing ways. And then we have more intimate rooms, right? So I want you to think of these as kind of like more immersion rooms, more intimate rooms. I like to think of this in terms of like a forest, right? So we have our forest, right? And our foundation is the root system, right? Our foundation room is this is who we are, this is who we serve, this is our method, this is our mission. And it's a deep root that goes down into the earth, right? Then we've got trees, and trees are where people, connect and they're hanging out with you. And then we have our hub, and I want you to think about the hub as kind of like what feeds the forest, right? It's like the soil. Right. And then I want you to think about these immersion rooms. Immersion rooms to me in this forest metaphor is like a tree house, right? We are meeting in a more intimate experience. Maybe it's an in-person event, maybe it's a deeper experience, maybe it's a retreat. And this is where relationships begin to deepen more, where community become strengthened and collaborations are born, just like what we saw at my retreat, right? But here's the part that most people are missing. And this is where I hope I'm able to kind of help you kind of tie this together. None of these stand alone. None of these stand alone, right? It's not separate. It's not a separate bunch of tactics where we're trying to grow a garden. We're just kind of sprinkling seeds here and there and hoping something lands and hoping something sprouts, right? I want you to vision this as they're all connected like the mycelium in the forest. And we actually had a really great conversation this week at the retreat because we were talking about we are all from different places, right? Different states in the United States. And yet, if we think about the forest, underneath the forest, it actually has this beautiful structure where the trees feed each other and they communicate with each other. And this is where I want you to think about the content that you share feeds your hub, and your hub feeds the other rooms, right? And your rooms are helping you to create clients and collaborations. And those collaborations create even more rooms, right? And it just keeps growing and growing and growing, which is a beautiful thing because now we have the living ecosystem, not just a funnel, not just a linear something, but more of a circular ecosystem where we are working together with each other in community. And there's a lot of different ways that you can decide to host your rooms, but we want to be able to see, okay, like this is a part of my strategy and structure to build and grow my business. I want to make sure that I have a hub. I want to make sure that I've got my foundation and my methods dialed in so that people are coming to me and they want to hang out in my hub, right? I want to be able to connect and collaborate on a more intimate level, maybe in some of these immersion experiences. I also want to make sure that I am both a participant as well as a collaborator. I'm a leader and, building my authority, but I'm also a participant. And it's so fun when you think about building your business this way because it really creates spaces for people to feel seen, to feel heard, to connect with others, and to build relationships beyond just us. And that's why it converts so well because people just don't want a whole bunch of information, right? They want belonging, they want connection, they want a shared experience. I know I do. I know many of my clients do, right? That's why I personally go to be in other people's rooms and I personally host my own rooms because when people are here with me live, when you're commenting, when you're sharing something, I can actually reach out and connect with you and know you by name and say hello to you. And that is such a different experience than actually watching a webinar that may or may not even be led by a real person. So I have not seen anybody actually teaching this as a full ecosystem. I have definitely had people teach parts of it where they're like, well, let me help you get on more stages, or let me help you do a virtual launch, or let me help you build out this retreat, or let me help you set up this dinner, right? People are teaching this in pieces. But I'm teaching how this all works together as a beautiful business model and an ecosystem. And I'm seeing it work so well in my business, in my clients' businesses, in real time, inside rooms. So if you are thinking and you're hearing this and you're like, wow, okay, this is really cool. This sounds like fun. If you're thinking, but how do I just need more visibility, or I just need more leads, or I just need to post more, which a lot of us have been told, right? Post 10 times a day on Facebook, just do more emails. You need more visibility. You need to constantly be attracting, more leads. I want to give you some questions to think about instead of how do I get more visible? How do I get more leads? How do I post more? And instead, I want you to ask yourselves, where are you inviting people next? Which room are you inviting somebody into to have an experience with you? What room are you creating for people that need your support? And what room can you step into where maybe your ideal clients are already hanging out, or maybe it's a collaboration partner, or maybe it's just a community of other women that want you to win that are helping you to create referrals? Because the future of business really is based on relationships, on conversations, on connections. And we are just seeing that profoundly today. It's a more intimate experience, it's more connected, it's more human. And once you start building your business this way, it doesn't just grow exponentially, it actually starts feeling lighter. It starts feeling more easeful. It starts feeling more alive. And honestly, it's a whole heck of a lot more fun. So I have a couple of invitations for a room for you to step into with me if this resonates with you. Number one, I have a great Substack channel. You can come, and I just did a post all about the Rooms That Convert ecosystem. And absolutely, that's for free. Go ahead and check it out. I've got a Facebook group too. So if you're not currently in my Facebook group, come join me where I get to share with you, behind the scenes, full transparency of how you can grow a business, create a six-figure or beyond business as a health coach, life coach, spiritual coach, woman entrepreneur who's in service-based holistic practice, how you can do that in a way that feels lighter, that feels more aligned, that feels more fun, and actually works so that you can have a right livelihood, you can make an incredible income, create your movement, getting more impact out in the world, and exponentially we get to help each other grow. So if that resonates with you, come join me for free inside the Facebook group or on the Substack. And if you are looking for a ready-made community already that is here cheering you on, that actually is growing their ecosystems together, I want to invite you into the Success Studio, because that Success Studio is the place where we actually meet together once a month inside of a networking group or a collaboration group, where people get to share what it is that they're doing, what it is that they need, what it is that they are sharing, what is it that they can support you with, right? And it's really, really powerful when we're able to do that also on a global level. So some people might be sharing, something that they've got going on virtually. Great. Some people might share that they've got a retreat coming up. Great. Some people might share that they have a special promotion that they are looking for somebody to share inside of their newsletter. Amazing. All of that is really, really, really powerful, because when we come together, we get to think and we get to decide in this ecosystem that this is not just about a pie, where if somebody else takes a bigger piece of the pie, there's less for me, right? This is about when we are creating an ecosystem, it is living, it is breathing together. We are actually making more pies, making more cookies, baking more cakes, creating more ovens, right? We get to build more ovens. We don't have to worry about the scarcity mindset that there's, only so many clients for me, and that's about it. And I need to get all mine before it goes away. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, we know in an ecosystem that in order for it to thrive, everybody needs to win. Everybody needs to win. And it's so much more fun when you're in this energy of generosity, collaboration, partnership, so that you, again, are doing both. You are hosting your own room, again, whether it's virtual or in person. You are then also collaborating with each other so that you can get in front of other people more quickly than just posting alone. And you're also having these beautiful immersion experiences, which is what your ideal clients are looking for. They want to know you, they want to connect with you. They're vetting you so that they can see and hear, do they resonate with you? Do they trust you? Do they want to learn more from you? Right. And so that's really, really important that we are hosting our own rooms to give people that experience. All right, my friends, I hope this was helpful for you. I know that this was like such a mind-blowing thing when I actually took a look at my business model and what are some of the things that I was doing to grow my business, and what are some of the things that I'm putting on repeat, and the things that I see that are working, and how it actually works together really, really well in terms of a living, breathing ecosystem, not just a funnel that we're just trying to move people from stranger to close the deal to a buyer. Completely different energy, different feeling, different way of doing business. And I truly believe that this is the way that we're going to be building our business going forward for sure. All right, my friends, I hope you have a great day. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you soon. Bye.